Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Arachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. As always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the for elect, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And we're now living in perilous times, as it is written. You know, times of difficulty, you know, times of, great distress, you know, the birth pains, the labor pains, you know, we're clearly in that time. So that's why we're to definitely continue to be watchful, you know, be circumspect, be vigilant, be sober. Now, they have been alluding for a while that, you know, there's possibility of, you know, potential homeland attacks that can happen, you know, domestic terror events. You know, they've been, sounding an alarm on that for a minute. And now you got this suspicious behavior where, you know, they're catching guys, you know, with bombing equipment. They're catching now, you know, guys approaching these protests, and they're, you know, they got suspicious devices, you know, that they have in possession. And they allegedly had captured a couple of them in New York City the other day. All right, so it's definitely about to get real in these streets, you know, and I suspect, you know, once these things really start to escalate and hit the fan, a lot of you scoffers out there, a lot of unbelievers, you know, we're gonna stop hearing from y'all. You know, all the videos that a lot of unbelievers make on TikTok and social media platforms against us, you know, watch that start to decrease, you know, because the Most High, you know, he's about to bring it, you know, to this world, you know, and a lot of you people, man, you're gonna have to give an answer, man. But we're now officially here. It's finna start getting, it's finna get serious. So anyway, let's play this clip real quick.
Stop moving. Guys, clear the pin. Clear the pool. Guys, clear the pin. Move back. Let's go. Right now. Back up, guys. People are moving down.
So, you know, we don't know what, you know, when you look at this footage, you know, it's kind of hard to make or detect, you know, what's exactly going on, but it looked like the guy ran and the other guy, they two both look to be Arab. He just turns around and hand him something, slip him something, and then he turns around and it looked real suspicious. The next thing you know, NYPD, you know, gets signaled and they flag these dudes down and captures them. You know, so, you know, I'm not sure what to make of this, but, you know, obviously nothing exploded, you know, where lives were lost or anything like that. But it looked like maybe whatever was supposed to happen got thwarted, and it didn't happen. So this is in New York City, okay? Now, I remember when this guy BB, let's get this short real quick. Damn it. All right, let me do this. Here we go.
Check this out.
Now, I remember maybe a year ago or so, or maybe a little while longer than that, this guy BB Satan Yahoo, he had already been alluding to the possibility of flags taking place right here in Babylon. So obviously they know what's going on. And we understand also that we can't put it past them, being responsible, knowing their track record, knowing their history, that they're known for planting flags. All right, they recently captured some Asadi agents over in Saudi Arabia and I believe in Qatar, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so it can happen anywhere in the country at this point. So brothers, you got, and even you few sisters, make sure that, you got your spiritual discernment to guide you. Stay out of the way, go to the destinations that you need to, and, keep yourself, away. Like the scriptures say, Proverbs 22:3, just to quote it, the prudent, Proverbs 22:3. All right. A wise man foreseeth the evil. The prudent man foreseeth the evil. The simple look on and are punished. So you're going to foresee the evil and hide yourself. You're going to take your precautions, when danger comes. All right. These proud ass people, like yesterday, we was at camp. This is on a Sunday. And, at the next block over from where we teach at on the corner, there's this bar, club, or whatever it's supposed to be. They just got loud nigga music playing all day. And, you see a bunch of single black women, a bunch of aunties going up in there trying to look for a dude looking desperate. You might have a few dudes here and there go up in there. But I'm like, we just looking like Jake's still in the spirit of partying. But meanwhile, you got threats of domestic terror in the country. We're in the midst of an actual war, a full drawn out war with Iran, and Jake's still trying to go to the club. So a lot of our people, they're still asleep. All right. But anyway, this guy, this Satan Yahoo guy, he had already been alluding to this activity happening in the country. Okay. And we know how these devils get down. All right. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of their devices. All right. It tells you that in Job as well, that, they plot mischief. Job 15:35. And they also like to lie, blatantly. Like it says in Psalms the 58th chapter, the wicked are estranged from the womb as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So they can tell you the truth, but they'll mix it with their lie. This Job 15:35, it says they conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. All right. So they can even stage certain events that can take place, but then claim to not have any hand in it. They'll play stupid, like they don't know anything. Like the question about those elementary schoolgirls getting bombed in Iran. This guy Hegseth, he has no shame whatsoever to get up and just straight up flat out lie. Trump too, they all are lying about what's happening over there. That was Iran that did that. That wasn't us. What? So these people are straight up devils, man, demons. But let's get this real quick. Remember these messages, all right? People were trying to figure out what the hell he was talking about.
Duper's delight. When he's watch, he's smiling already, and he's going to smile when he talks about nuclear bombs hitting the United States.
Tommy guns in New York City, in Target, Washington, Boston.
He's smiling. I'm not making that up. Am I making that up?
Gleeful.
If you want to see the full video on this one, check it out by clicking the title below. It's absolutely wild.
It's
Check
called
this.
Yep. So why was he saying those things if, he don't know something that the people don't know, right? And, we have been saying that they have been trying to pull Trump's arm to attack Iran, and now he officially did it. A lot of the things that Trump was saying that he was against or didn't want to do or wasn't going to do, he's now doing it. He was against cryptocurrency before. Now all of a sudden, he wants to, make, Babylon the top, crypto nation in the world, right? He wanted to pull us out of wars, but now America's involved in a multitude of wars. So you can't even take anything Trump say in serious. Can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth because he's controlled. All right. And this guy right here, he's one of the ones pulling the strings, even though he's a puppet too. All right. But they control this guy, Trump. And so now, if they were to carry out something in the country, Trump has to fall back and let it happen. So he's showing right now that he's not a good leader. He was at Sirach 11. I mean, not 11:10. And you'll know something serious if a lot of them little hat people that actually live in the country, if they start relocating and moving in droves, like what happened on 9/11. They said a lot of them, most of them didn't even show up to work that morning when 9/11 happened. So those are things to look at as well. Sirach 10 and 1, it says, a wise judge will instruct his people. Meaning, you're going to take the proper precautions. You're going to instruct them. All right. You're going to, make sure you do your best to keep your citizens out of harm's way. You're going to give them protection. You're going to do all that. But instead, this devil, he just wants war. They just want to just, see bombs blowing up and people get killed. It says, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. And his administration is definitely not well ordered. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right, so, Babylon is ripe for the taking, man. We're behind enemy lines, and it made so many freaking enemies attacking everybody.
Check this out.
So if something were to be carried out, you don't even know who it's coming from because you got too many foes. You see? Let me get Isaiah 47. So that feeling of dwelling careless and secure in your pleasure, those days are getting ready to leave, man. This is Isaiah 47 and 8, and it says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and in one day. The loss of children and widowhood shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee. All right, your left hand wisdom, your AI, artificial intelligence, your science. You put your hard trust in that, your military, the technology of your military. We got the greatest military in the world. That's Donald Trump. I am and none else beside me, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. All right, so evil is going to befall this place. All right, and they ain't going to, it's going to be coming from all fronts. And that's why you shouldn't do evil, because it's going to come right back